Bill, you mentioned a couple times adding support people for recruiting. Can you give us a feel for maybe where you stand? You talk about keeping up with the Joneses with some of the other programs that are at your level.
Right. I think we're in good shape. I think we can do things better. I think a lot of in college football, many of the things that take place in recruiting has a lot to do with manpower. So I just believe that we can add a few positions there, maybe a graduate assistant position or some other things. I don't want to get into the details of it with you, but that will help us in that recruiting department. And those are discussions that we've been having for a while here, and hopefully we'll be able to do that soon.
Coach, if you're able to comment on this, just with Dan's question in mind, having Adam Breneman on campus now, obviously, his presence with the recruiting was pretty big leading up to it, it seemed like. Are you able to comment on just what his presence is finally joining the team and also how his recovery process has been?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the recovery process. I'll just say that we've got a great kid there that we think has fantastic potential, and now he has to put his head down and go to work. And he comes from a great family. His parents, brother, sister, just fantastic people. It's been great to get to know them, and we're really excited about his future here at Penn State. And it's a very strong position for us. You're talking about some guys there that have played a lot of football for us, and then with the addition of him, that's one heck of a position for us coming back in 13.
Bill, you had exit interviews with players following the regular season. Did you glean any insight from that process as it, I guess, headed into your second phase of winter workouts, spring practices, that sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely gleaned some insight. One of the things that was pretty interesting about that process was, again, every time you meet with a player, it's hard when what I've learned in a year, it's hard when you're the head coach to really get to know all 115 guys on your team or 100 guys on your team. So what I'll always try to do here, for the years that I'm here, will be to meet one-on-one with those guys at least twice a year, but hopefully more than that, And so I was able to really understand again the plethora, I guess, of majors that these guys have. You're talking about all these different majors that these guys have, and it's incredible. Communications, history, just unbelievable types of majors, English, business. It's incredible. Then I was able to hear from them again how confident they are in their ability when spring practice starts again to know the system, when they hit the ground running in spring practice, So I think it's every time you meet with those guys, it's you learn something new about those guys, and that's what I try to do.
As a follow-up to that, is there anyone who didn't return for the spring semester, or is there any academic problems that you're aware of?
Yeah, Curtis Dukes won't be here. He won't be here. And right now, that's the one that I know of.
Everyone academically eligible?
Everything was fine academically.
Bill, what are some things over the past year you're proud of, and what are some of the things over the past year you wish you would have done differently and have learned from?
Well, there's a lot of things that we need to improve on. So I'll start with that. I think everything that we do in the program has already been and will continue to be reviewed. We'll try to do things differently as to how we, like I said, how we do study hall and academically and dealing with our players and then weightlifting and conditioning, and then obviously offense, defense, special teams. We'll really try to look at that and look at those things and really try to improve, and that's what we're all about. And then some things, I'm just really proud to be associated with these players. I'm proud of the way that they played last year. I think it was a good start to a new era. I think we've got tough kids that care about Penn State, and I'm looking forward. Like I said, I really enjoy coaching these kids. So I'm just proud to be associated with these guys, and I'm proud to be with this university.
Bill, could you just talk a little bit, Bill, about the quarterback position as you see it heading into spring? And just one other thing, were there any kids you redshirted in the fall who maybe impressed you and the staff on the practice field and you think have positioned themselves maybe to get some playing time?
Sure. Let me start with the quarterback question. Stephen Bench will be back for us, and just a great kid, a bright kid, competitive guy, a lot of energy, really a neat kid to be around. You know, comes from he's a coach's son. His dad was a coach down there in South Georgia, and just a neat kid to be around. And you know, he'll be the first to tell you he's got a lot of work to do, but really looking forward to working with him when spring practice starts. We brought in a junior college transfer, so to speak, named Tyler Ferguson, who comes from the College of the Sequoias out there in California, and really excited about working with him. You know, he was a guy that we felt really was smart and productive, and had some great conversations with him. And you know, he's been here the last couple of days and met him and talked to him a little bit. Just really excited about him. We have two run-on guys, Austin Whipple, whose dad, Mark Whipple, is a great friend of mine, who's was the quarterback coach of the Cleveland Browns. And I work for Mark at Brown, and Austin is his youngest son. Really looking forward to working with him. And then we have a young man named DJ Crook from Massachusetts that's a run-on that's coming in here, and just being around those two guys the last couple of days, two athletic-looking guys that are ready to go to work, so we're excited there. Some guys, as far as that we redshirted, you know, start on offense. You know, obviously we can't wait to see what Akeel Lynch does. We think he's got a really good future for us. Go to the tight end position. Brent Wilkerson really impressed us on the practice field. You know, the thing with those guys is now you're going from reading a card to actually having to learn the system. You know, you can look at a card in the Dirty Show, and they say run this curl at 14 yards, and you run the curl. Now it's about going out there and learning the system and doing it. So, you know, we're looking forward to seeing how those guys adapt to it and get going. Geno Lewis, Malik Golden at the receiver position, really looking forward to those guys, watching what they do. You know, offensive line, we've got a couple guys there. Wendy Laurent, looking forward to seeing him, what he does. You know, defensively, a guy like Austin Johnson, really think he's got a great future for us. Naeem Wortman, even though he played a little bit, was injured, but you know, really think he's got a great future for us. Secondary-wise, Daquan Davis, you know, looking forward to seeing how he improves after year one here. You know, those are guys, Jake Kiley. I mean, I could go right down the list for you, but there's a lot of good young talent in this program that we think bodes well for the future, and now we just can't wait to get out there and start coaching.
Hey, Bill, can you talk about where Bill Belton stands heading into winter workouts, and do you still see him as a running back, or is he a guy you might look at some other positions?
No, he's a running back, Scott, but I'll tell you, you can tell that he went home over Christmas and he really worked. You know, you can tell, and that's a good sign. He's a great kid, really have a unique relationship with Billy. Really, you know, I have a lot of respect for Billy, and we're going to do a better job, starting with me, number one. I think Charles London did a great job coaching him. I'm going to try to, along with a lot of other guys, figure out different ways to use these guys. Billy being one of those guys. You know, how can you use them better in the passing game and things like that, because he can do a lot of different things. So, you know, looking forward to putting those plans into place here in spring practice. But Billy's ready to go, I think, as far as working at it this offseason.
Bill,
Number one is it's very important to keep your staff intact, but you have to be careful there too, because you know, I think it's important for these guys they want to move up the ladder, and so you've got some fantastic coaches on our staff that are going to have chances, probably, maybe not this year, but maybe in other years of being coordinators or even head coaches. You know, so you never want to hold those guys back from being able to do that, and I never will. But obviously, from a continuity standpoint, you'd love to keep them intact and do the best you can with that. I think that these guys are paid well. I think that they can always be paid better, and you know, I think there's things that we've talked about from day one here, Dr. Joyner and I, about ways that we can do that. You know, whether it's a bowl bonus or, you know, what bowl would we have gone to if we win a certain amount of games, things like that. So those are conversations that take place, in like I said, in the inner circle, and we'll do the best we can to continue to try to make it attractive to coach here.
Bill, did you inform your current players that you plan to have conversations with a couple teams before you did last week, and did any of them express concern to you during the process?
You know, I don't ever talk about conversations that I have with my players. Though that's a sanctuary over there, man. You know, that's the locker room, that's the team meeting room, and all I will tell you is that I believe that I trust my players, and I believe that they trust me. And like I said, I love coaching these kids, and can't wait to start working for them with spring practice.
Bill, your decision to stay, was that on the condition of anything? Did some of these changes have to take place in order for you to stay?
It wasn't a decision to stay, Josh. You know, no job was ever offered to me. I had a couple conversations, and I really decided that I love being the head football coach at Penn State. And that's where it's at.
So can you give us an update on Kyle Carter, and do you expect him to be ready for full go this winter?
Right, you know, just saw Kyle this morning, and saw where he was getting a new cast on his arm there, his wrist, and he's really working at it. He's a great kid, man. You talk about, you know, you could go right down the roster and talk about all these guys individually. That's what's a really neat thing about being a head coach here. He's just a fantastic kid, and you know, he can't wait to get back at it. You know, I don't know right now, as we sit here right now, if he'll be ready for spring practice. I think that decision is a ways away from being made, but I think he's making a lot of progress.
Well, you mentioned Wortman before. Do you plan to use the medical red shirt? Do you plan to pursue the medical red shirt for him after last season?
I'm not going to get into that with you. You know, that's a fair question, but that's between me and Dr. Joyner and Tim Bream, and that's it. Good?
Bill, this will be a follow-up a little bit to what Guy was asking, but when you go through a public process like that, or it becomes public, can it be, is it gone for the foreseeable future, or is it something that can come up again on an annual basis?
No, I don't think so, Neil. I plan to be the head football coach here. I love coaching here, love living here, really enjoy the kids that I coach here, and no, I don't see it that way. Again, I'm not a genie. I don't have a crystal ball. I have a lot of respect for that league. I love that league. Again, this is my profession. You know, I'm a coach, and that's the highest level. And so, but at the same time, like I've said, I can't be more clear about this. I love coaching these kids. I enjoy being the head football coach at Penn State, and I enjoy working here. I enjoy the people that I work for, the people I work with, all the people I've met. The student body's incredible here, and I enjoy being here, and I plan to be here.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Okay, thanks, guys.